Hi, welcome to the Conscious Eating Summit. I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Kroll. Today I am super excited to have with me Natalie Ewing. Natalie is the creator of the fitness method New Fit, also the creator of the Movement Tour, and she is a top health and wellness influencer. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I have like sun on my face. I'm like moving it around.
Okay. Can you share with our viewers a little bit about, if so they don't know who you are, can you share what you do and why you do it?
Yeah. So my name's Natalie Ewing, and like what we talked about is I'm a creator of my own fitness format. It's called New Fit. It's a hybrid of dance, cardio, and toning. And I was an Under Armour athlete, sponsored athlete for 5 years, traveled all over the country for them, put together programs, trained professional athletes, sat on panels, did Super Bowl appearances. So I've done a lot of stuff in the sports, like real sports arena. And then I've also done television. I was one of 5 trainers picked for a TV show called Radius, where I produced and executed 8 different signature programs from the ground up, which included dance, HIIT training, things of that nature. So a lot of like movement without like just own body weight stuff. And then I also run a media company called Natalie Entertainment Group, which I have girls that work under me, and we produce content for brands. So for like, say like someone like an Athleta or something like that, we'll call and we'll do all their imagery, videos through the lens of influencer like myself. So I kind of have a couple different verticals within my business that I plug and play on, but movement and teaching and fitness has been in my blood since I was a kid. I really started this when I was 13 years old. So I've been doing this for a long time. So it's kind of a little bit about me.
Well, and that's why we have you here today. So we're going to talk a little bit about how exercise is affected by hormones and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, let's start with just how do hormones affect weight?
Yeah. Well, I love this topic because it's amazing, because we're like, everyone's like on this, everyone wants to understand hormones, and especially as you age, your levels change and hormones change, and you're like, wait, I used to have, could wear a size whatever, and now I can't, and what's going on? And I'm exercising like a badass. Like, that's I get that a ton. Like, I exercise 7 days a week and I'm doing 10 classes, and why the hell can't I lose weight and all that stuff? So, the biggest thing is I want to talk about exercise in returns to hormone. Is there's a hormone that's called cortisol that obviously all of us know about. If you don't know that term, look it up. But it's a direct correlation to exercise, because it gets released when you exercise. And when you over-exercise, your body goes into a state of stress. And so what happens is all that cortisol holds on to your fat, and you can't actually lose weight. So people that are thinking like cardio all day long, it's like your body's like this. Think of an engine going, and it burns out. It can never like rest and recover, because cortisol also is a directive. It doesn't let your body recover, and your body needs to recover in order to break down fat and to lose weight and to, inflammation. Like with cortisol too, it's like your body all of a sudden is in inflamed state. Yeah. It's like fight or flight. So exercise has a ton to do with it, because if you're a cardio junkie, you think that, that's the answer for losing weight, when actually it's not. So for me, I love cardio. Believe me, I love cardio too, but there's a balance between, cardio all day long and not doing like strength training, HIIT training, resistance training, like pairing it with that. That way you're not burning, your hormones out. And also the thyroid, I know we've talked about this too.
Yeah.
When your body is in a state of complete stress, also your thyroid is in a complete stress. And that, that number, that master gland is what we like to call it, controls everything. Like, I don't know, people that have hyperthyroidism, hypothyroid and then Hashimoto's. I mean, my mom has Hashimoto's, and it's literally 1 week she'll be 50 pounds up, 1 week she'll be 50 pounds off, you know, and obviously she's on thyroid medication, but that gland, when it's stressed and when it's overworked or whatever, can affect everything about you. And that, you know, when you're working out like a beast, your body is just producing all these hormones and fight or flight responses that are not good for glands like the thyroid.
So what kind of movement do you recommend for someone? Yeah. So like, if, you know, what is the ideal, or what do you feel like is the ideal exercise regime? I mean, I know it probably depends on the individual, but if you
totally.
A broad
I mean, it totally depends on the individual. Obviously injuries, I'm always like, well, what can you do? Like, you know, like obviously an assessment for everyone's totally different. What do you like to do is another question. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like I'm not a runner, and running does not work with my body at all. Like, I suffer from plantar fasciitis in the past, and I just don't like running. So I'm not going to run, like, even if it was like the best exercise out there. So, you know, those are the things that I say first. Ask yourself, like, what do you like to do? What gets you up in the morning? What's going to get you to the gym? Second is, if you're wanting to lose weight, I like to bucket my days a little bit differently, like have a collective of things that you're doing. So say one day is 30 minutes cardio, 45 minutes cardio, whatever, and then adding like the 20-minute strength training, the toning on the end. I mean, that for me is beautiful, because you're getting your cardio component in there, and it doesn't have to be pound, 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 like crazy psycho on the elliptical, you know, that where the legs are spinning like a crazy person. It's like just getting your heart rate up, you know, and keeping it consistent, and then doing a more, you know, strength training. And it doesn't have to be heavy weights. I'm not a heavyweight person. I'm like, want it controlled. I want form on point. So lifting, you know, I lift between 2 to 3 to 5 pounds, depending what I'm doing that day. Lots of reps. So that way you're going to really get into like your intrinsic muscle groups and also burn out that muscle. Mm-hmm. And that, when you mix cardio and strength like that in a really amazing way, you're going to burn fat like longer, like your body's like burning all day long through the strength training. So I think, but also flexibility is huge. Yeah. You know, and I tell people that all the time. I'm like, you've got to be flexible, like, because as we get older, everything starts to go, and then you're going to get injuries left, right, and center, and you're not going to be able to move or mobility the way that we used to. So I mean, I like a plethora of exercises. It's like between yoga, Pilates, dance, walking, strength training, anything that you're like in control too. I know like some fitness classes, it feels very like manic and you're out of control and you don't really know what your body's doing. I like to stay away from that stuff, just because injuries, once you get injured, you know, you're not able to play.
So I think, I mean, I like how you're saying that it really is individualized and it should change. And I think it's worth noting for everyone that you're actually pregnant right now. And
yes.
So your exercise regime has changed as well. So
big time.
Typically you are like really hardcore.
Yep.
Right now, you know, we were talking like you are not being as aggressive. And I think it is really important, that aspect of actually listening, right?
Yeah. And I want to also make it clear, being hardcore, being aggressive does not equal being fit at all. Like, that is such a mindset of like, oh, you have to be like hard hitting and all this stuff. No, like standing in your feminine and being soft and stuff is very powerful and has major strength over anything. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Like, being hard hitting and stuff doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's like another thing. Like, if, you know, it's all individualized. It's like, you know, I don't, obviously I'm not working with these people one-on-one or seeing them in a studio setting, so you don't know their bodies. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, is like, I also, just because a lot of people are like, oh, that workout's so hard and oh my God, I got killed. That doesn't mean that it's the best workout for you, even though it's so painful. Like I always say, like, it shouldn't be that painful. Yeah, you should be sweating and having fun, but it shouldn't be to the point where you're like, you're so sore the next day, you're not going to be able to do anything. Like, that's not the goal either.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how you're mentioning like fun, right?
Fun. Oh my God.
Because,
Fun is the number one.
I don't know how long it took me to decide to exercise, like not just so that I looked good in a bathing suit or something.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my motivation used to be something so exterior to myself that like I would do like a strenuous hike with like, yeah, this is getting my butt fit, right? Versus like just the pure enjoyment of moving my physical body, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing in our industry. It's like I always stress, like, the first thing when people come to my class, I'm like, we're here to have fun. Yeah, you're going to get a great workout and the benefits are going to be amazing. But I want you to leave here feeling so good about yourself and listening to that song and like having that little pep in your step that energy that you leave with, you're going to be able to influence other people's lives, and you're going to attract also other people around you with that same glow, that light, like living in the sunshine, because you feel good about yourself on the inside, not exterior. And then everything else changes. That's a huge, like, if you came to my classes, that's the number one thing I talk about. It's interior work first before exterior. Like, that's the benefit of being in love with yourself and loving your body. That all stuff works out for itself.
Yeah, I love that. So what do you feel like is the relationship with diet, and like how does diet interplay with all this?
Yeah.
Like, so you can eat crappy and just work out?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
And I have a lot of friends that do that and are skinny, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? But again, they're blessed and
and I want to know, no one gets away with anything. Ever,
exactly.
Ever. Like, it just hasn't manifested yet, whatever it is.
It's going to either come through your skin. It's going to come through, like, I see people's moods all over the place. Like, they're happy one day, they have huge drops in their day. It's, it comes through in a plethora of issues. Food is so important. Oh my God. It's like number one besides having fun and your classes, but it's the mothership of your body. Our bodies are made of cells and fats, proteins, carbohydrates. And so when you feed your vehicle, like I would say, like, our bodies are vehicles, when you feed it like shit, that is what's going to happen in the long term. Like, your body can only go for so long before it starts to break down in every way possible. A thyroid is so directly related, as you know, to food. Like, it just is. Like, and when you pump your body with sugar all day long, your insulin levels are off the fucking roof, and you're going to get, you see so much, oh my God, like all the diabetes that I'm seeing in kids now, it's crazy. And I'm like, what are you eating all day? They're at Starbucks getting those frappuccinos, like, after, and they think frappuccino liquid equals skinny. That's where we are right now. They think, like, not eating, but liquids equals skinny. And it's like, oh my God, like, we have so much work to do in that area. Before I start anyone on anything, I'm like, let's work on the food component first. Yeah. And then just walk. I'm like, food and walk. Like, it's like, let's get the food down and walk and have fun and do an awesome playlist and do all that stuff first, because the minute your gut health and all that stuff changes, everything in your body changes, from the physical to the mental health. Like, you're just clear. Like, I know when I eat like shit, I feel like shit, and everything in my life then turns to shit.
Right. Yeah. More power to you. I'm on your side.
Yeah. And just like, when people, like, I'm big into skin and all that stuff. And it's like, when you see people that eat like shit, it's coming through. Like, our skin is the largest organ in our body. And so it's just seeping, you see all these kids with major cystic acne and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, what are we eating all day long? Let's take, instead of going on Accutane, which is so bad for you. Oh my God, the side effects are nuts. let's clean up the food first.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
But, and again, that's a whole nother rampage. It's like us against all the pharmaceutical companies, and they don't, whatever. That's a whole nother thing we could rant and rave on all day long. But, it also starts at home with parents too. I think moms and dads, like, cleaning up, like, you are the example, like, you have the power to really influence your kids and to make it your priority to have healthy food in your house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many parents I've had as clients or patients that have actually told me, like, well, he just won't eat anything else. I'm like, well, then why are you buying that food? I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, the kid will eat what you feed them. They might throw a fit, they might skip a meal, but at the end of the day, a child will not starve themselves.
No.
So.
And their palates are going to totally change once, like, you introduce, like, I mean, I remember growing up, my mom was always kind of ahead of the trend and into health and wellness as kids. So we kind of, we never had chips. We always had like carrots and broccoli and all the stuff that no one would want to eat. But like, we ended up, being really great athletes as kids, both my sister and I. We also were never overweight, and we've had amazing skin and hair. My hair is like huge. Like, my ponytails are like massive, and people are always like, how do you get great hair? And I'm like, it's honestly nutrition.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it. I totally believe that.
So no, but that takes effort too. It's like the parents have to be on board with that lifestyle as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So any moms watching this, when you get your act together,
get your act together. I think this is another big mission of mine, is get your act together with, stop talking about your body negatively, because if you have daughters, your daughters absorb it in 2 seconds and they think the exact same thing as you. So the minute you start talking, oh, I'm so fat, I need to go on a diet, all this shit, that directly goes to your daughter. I'm not kidding.
No, yeah, that gave me chills.
That line is so impactful, and I see it every day. I'm like, stop going on diets. You're the mother. Your daughter is listening to all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's programming for the future.
Yep.
Yeah. So Natalie, can you share with our viewers what your free gift is? This is actually a pretty cool free gift.
Yeah, so I'm going to gift you guys a New Fit t-shirt. So when you're rocking out in the gym, or you're power walking, or you're hiking, or whatever you want to do for fun, you can just have that t-shirt on and feel that, you have the power. Really, my message is like, you have the power to, change your life and to do whatever, to make your life great. Like, no one's cuffing you to the wall. No one's doing anything. And I'm really a female trainer. I think that's my specialty. And I want every woman to love her body and to appreciate it, because we get one shot. Like, this is one temple. This is it. And it's like, we have to take care of it, and take care of it for your kids, and take care of it for your daughters. Like, growing up, because with all the social media out there and all this body stuff, like, if they've got someone solid at home loving their body, more than likely they're going to end up loving their bodies too.
Yeah, I love that. I just love that you take a stand for women in that way.
Oh my God, I'm like huge on this. I go like nuts.
Yeah, like, you're not just about the fitness, like, you're actually taking a stand for women in their own power. And I just love that. So if anyone is on Instagram and follows Natalie on Instagram, you might just say, oh, that's a pretty girl and she's fit. But like, there's like depth there, and you're like really taking a stand for women and girls. And I think that, show your daughters this video, like, show what Natalie stands for, and then show her Instagram feed, and show like that you can be a beautiful, strong woman and still like have that connection to feminine and body awareness and self-love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not two separate things.
Totally. And being feminine is such a strength. I think as we, as women in business, I've been in tons of situations, especially in sports, it's all men, right? It's like men, and then like one female trainer. And this has been my entire career. It's like, that is your power. And just because you might be doing something different and not as hard hitting or whatever, that means that does not equate with your strength ever. And I think that is such a huge message, especially for young girls coming up in my field. It's like, you don't have to be like so aggressive and all this stuff to be very outspoken, to be powerful, and to have a message. Like it just, you know, and it starts at home, especially with the moms. Like, stand up for your kids and be be the role model that you want them to be.
Yeah. I have one more question for you, Natalie.
Yep.
If you could give your younger self any advice, what would it be?
Oh boy, that's a good question. If I could give myself any advice. I would probably say, in terms of my career, not letting people, I've always been like, I've always really liked myself and all that stuff, but not being ashamed or not being scared to like really be like, no, that's not my style, and I don't want to adapt to your style because that's not me, and being okay with that, because I've had a lot of people try to mold me into very various things in my career. Like, they're like, you need to be this way, you need to be this way, we want you this way, and it like never works when it's not me.
Yeah.
And I think if I would have learned that lesson early on, I think it would have saved me a ton of heartache, especially doing television and all this other stuff where it's so brutal on your like mind. Like, you're getting beat down every day by producers and stuff. And so when you really know yourself and you know like, oh, actually that's not something that I would do, and having conviction with that, you're just able, the road's clear. The road's clear because you're like, yes, no, yes, no. It's just like, you know, you're able to make decisions because you know yourself, you know, and I think that comes with age and time, but I think it would have saved me a lot of heartache because I wouldn't have tried to please like people that just didn't really care about me or didn't really understand who I was.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a powerful message for everybody, right? I mean, just standing in your own truth, whatever it may be.
I always say like, you know, too, with girls coming up the pipe, it's like, no one wants you to be the next Beyonce or whatever. Like, she's done, she's had it. Like, that's her. Everyone wants to be, they want something magical from you. And that is the spice. That is the sauce. And only you have that. No other person has what you have. So yes, you can look for other people for inspiration. And yes, like, you know, there's all that stuff out there, but really being like, no, all the magic. I think we're so always looking, and I do this all the time too, constantly looking for outside validation, constantly looking for like, oh, what is she doing? What is she doing? Maybe I need to do that. But it's like, you have all the answers. You just got to listen.
Awesome. That is such good advice.
So, and believe me, I work on that every day. So it's a skill. So I'm not saying I'm like the queen of it. Yeah. I'm just saying that's, you know, something that, you know, is really helpful. And I think will help you throughout your career is like, once you know yourself, you're able to just make decisions based on what's good for you. And then, you know, brands will align with you, people will align with you because it's you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking
the time. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, no, this is awesome. And I'm just so passionate about women and especially kids too, and girls coming through the pipeline. It's
I can't even imagine. Sometimes I feel sad for girls growing up in this day and age because, you know, when you and I were kids, there wasn't this social media influence, right? So we got to experience just being us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there was peer influence, whatever, but like not to the degree of now. Like, I can't even fathom being 10 years old right now, being on social media, you know, all of these influences that can really take I think a damaging toll on who and what we become.
It's really hard. It's so hard. I mean, I work with professional dancers like a lot, and I work with a lot of kids that are like trying to go to LA and do like Disney and all that stuff, and I'm like, whoa, like they're growing up so fast. It's like, you know, it's like between the crop tops and the tiny shorts and like the body. And, you know, I get asked all the time when I go teach at these studios and the girls are like 8 and 10. They're like, so, do you have any weight loss tips? And I'm like,
that's heartbreaking.
What? Like and this is why I go on a tangent about this. But it's just, you know, the world that they live in, think about it, like they're constantly getting inundated with pictures that are manipulated on social media. I say social media is great. It's perception versus reality. That is not reality. All the images are manipulated. They're staged. They're styled. You have makeup on, all that shit. Like, you know, it's not reality. You're also not living in their shoes. Like, you know, it's a really weird time for especially women. Like, I think it's really hard because they see all these girls blowing up on Instagram, and most of the girls that are doing well in various areas, it's all ass and tits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't have to do that.
No.
So yeah, you don't have to do that in order to have a stance, in order to feel worthy, in order to, you know, move your career along, especially in sports. Like, you know, like you don't. And if that's the industry, then I always say, like, some people love me, some people hate me. I'm not the rainbow for everyone, you know, and either is my format or either is my message. And I'm okay with that. I've gotten turned down by hundreds, millions of jobs, rejections, because they're like, you're not the look. We don't like your vibe, whatever. Then I'm not your vibe, you know?
So I want to just note before we end this, everyone that's wanting the New Fit t-shirt, go back to the email where you found this video, and you can click the link, and then you'll be able to connect with Natalie and get your free t-shirt.
Perfect. Yay.
Well, I want to thank you again for joining us. I want to thank everyone that's watching for joining us, and make sure you check tomorrow's email for the next interview.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And just remember, the magic's with you. All right.
Bye.
I'll talk to you later. See ya.